Good morning, folks. This is Brant and Fury with another Boondock Gourmet. Today I'm going to be making my version of a meatloaf, sauteed green beans, and I'm going to cheat a little bit and use a rice cooker to make a little bit of rice to go on the side. I'm also going to make a glaze, tomato sauce, molasses, and diced tomatoes to go on top of the meatloaf while I'm at it. Hold on a second, I gotta start heating the oven up. About 400 degrees is what I usually put stuff on. Now I'm not going to be using all the onions, so I'm going to, or at least not in the main dish, which is the meatloaf, but I am going to put it in the pan with the sauteing green beans. So start chopping stuff up. Now that will go into the bowl to be sauteed. The rest will go in the mixing bowl with the actual carne piccata and the crackers, because that's what I'm using today instead of breadcrumbs and ground beef. Alright. My mixing bowl out. Kind of shooting from the hip today. I'm not in the best of organizations, I suppose, as far as my mindset, but I'm promised you a cooking video today. Well, I haven't done much on the ballistic rants in the past few days like I was supposed to. I'm just trying to keep everything going here, so bear with me. Alright, I'm gonna fine dice and then just a hair bit more. Alright, also go into the scrap bag. Now, let's see. Extend the tether out a little bit, so I can get to the fridge and the other ingredients. Okay, like I said, I use crackers in my meatloaf instead of breadcrumbs, because saltines already have a little bit of the natural salt. So I'm going to do about 3/4 of a sleeve of saltine crackers. Just crunch them up like so. If you let a couple big pieces drip through, just reach in and just regrind them a little bit, because you're going to be sticking your hands in to mix it with the meat and the eggs in just a very short moment or so. Cracker wanted to go in the bacon dish a little bit soon, but we'll get you a chance. Alright, got that. I'm going to use a little bit of seasoning salt. This one's getting towards the bottom, so I'm going to put roughly about a tablespoon. Bear with me. And everybody knows I like my garlic paste. I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple of squirts of that in there. Alright, this is about a 1.25 pounds of Aldi's Carne piccata. Like I've said before in the chili video, I like using this because the texture is a little different, and also it's pretty lean. So I'm going to do about 2 eggs for a binder. Sorry if the sound spikes up a little bit. And like anything else meatloaf related, if you've ever mixed one up, or if you haven't, you got to get your hands dirty by thoroughly mixing the ingredients up. Now you can add more crackers, and that's always a possibility for me. Matter of fact, I think I will add the rest. It's got to last me for a few days, for a few different meals. And a carton of saltines at Aldi is about $2, so it's cheap. And you can save your bread if it ain't stale for sandwiches, toast, and other odds and ends. Alright. Move this to the side. Get the baking dish for the meatloaf out. Start packing it like a bunch of squirrels packing their nuts for the winter, folks. Put every little bit you can into the crannies and just make sure everything is filled up and evened out across the pan. Hold on a second, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Got a can of Aldi stewed tomatoes. I'm only going to use about half. The rest are going to go in with the rice in the rice cooker in a little bit. Give it some flavor. Then I use an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. This one happens to be from Dollar General because I ran out a week or so back before I filmed the currywurst video that I never did get to post. And I'm going to put just a touch of molasses for sweetness. Now mix that up real good. And if you want to add additional spices, that's fine. This has already got, well, the meatloaf's already got garlic paste in it. So spread that out. And you can also use this to, since there's going to be some left over, I'm going to put some of this on the meatloaf after I cut it and serve it. So put that to the back. And get a hand towel to help wipe up some of the splattering and stuff. And I'm going to put this in the oven off camera and see you in a little bit. Okay folks, I'm back. I just put the meatloaf into the pan, or I mean the oven. Now I'm getting ready to do the green beans. Put this on 4 out of 8 and a high on this particular stove. I'm using olive oil today because I'm not getting everything too terribly hot. I'm just using it to mainly warm everything up. Now, I've already opened up 2 cans of French style green beans and drained them. I've got half the onion that I chopped earlier. And you guessed it, I love the garlic paste. I'm not going to lie. So, also need to get a spatula up This one's got a little bit of a split in it from where it wasn't quite dried out right whenever it was cut and sent to service, but it's a good heavy duty one. I like it for other reasons. Alright, I'm going to pour the green beans into the pan. Not quite ready yet. Now this is one of the recipes I kind of came up with on my own. My dad told me a long time ago that my grandmother used to fry turnip greens and green beans in bacon fat. Well, as much as I love bacon and bacon fat, my cholesterol level doesn't. So the reason why I'm using 2 cans of green beans is I got to get a couple meals out of it today and a couple meals out of it the next couple of days. So I've turned the heat up a little bit. And one thing I noticed whenever I was experimenting with the way I came up with the green beans was what naturally is in them when you go to a home-style restaurant. There's usually a little bit of diced onion with them, like everything else. And the green beans are already cooked. What you're doing is adding the extra flavors, heating them up together and letting them kind of cross pollinate or soak through the different textures of the dish. I turn the heat up a little bit more than what I usually do to get everything going and keep from having to stop and stop so much on the filming here. I'm going to have basically, I've got 2 dishes going at the same time, one in the oven, one on the top. And very shortly, I'm going to have the rice cooker going. I should have got the dried rice out already. Unfortunately for me, the tether on my microphone is good enough to where I can get around it. Today I'm going to be using a cup of basmati rice. That should make a few servings. This is a 3-cup overall rice cooker. I don't bother rinsing my rice, I will be honest with you. I'm a crude barbarian in the Asian sense, or Asianized, I suppose. Now, you can also add one of my other favorites to the green beans while they're sauteed, and that's mushrooms, to kind of make it more of an all-in-one. You could possibly put pre-cooked ham in with it. Here's my little 3-cup rice maker from Aldi. Here's the half can, mainly of juice stewed tomatoes. And these are the basil, garlic, and oregano ones like I used in the chili last time. Let's see, a little water in there. Looks like I'm going to get right back. Okay, I'm back with the microphone. You could probably see me piddling earlier. Alright, got the rice cooker on. Still got the green bean sauteing. And sometimes you can leave a little bit of the water or moisture in the pan from the cans of green beans and the onion in. I usually cook it back a little bit, or cook it down, because you're going to have a lot of moisture, hopefully, from the glaze that I put on top of the meatloaf. Plus I've got some extra leftover part of it to put on it after I slice it up. So you can do that instead of ketchup if you make enough. You can also make like the currywurst sauce, which I didn't get a chance to put on camera, where you use a couple tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, a 8-ounce can of the tomato sauce, 2 teaspoons of curry powder, and a portion or a teaspoon of the spicy paprika or smoked paprika, either one, for a little extra kick. And that goes good on anything hamburger, sausage, or potato related. So alright, I'm just going to cook this up for a few minutes, and I'm going to shut everything down until the meatloaf's ready. I'll stir the rice off camera when it gets a little closer, and when I cut it on next time, cut the camera on next time, it's probably going to be to do the plating up. So be back. Okay folks, here I am. It's been about an hour since I put the meatloaf in the oven. I've got the stewed tomatoes and rice on the upper left hand corner of my plate from where I'm sitting. The sauteed green beans in the upper right hand side. Let's see how this tastes. Oh yeah. Good but not overpowering flavor. From the mix of the garlic with the onion and the crackers and the meatloaf. I'll try some of this rice next. It's piping hot, so I gotta be careful. The rice is good and tender. The tomatoes, even though I got plenty on the meatloaf, as far as the glaze and the sauce, still keeps the rice from being too bland without having to do extra salt and pepper. Alright. Last and definitely not least, the sauteed green beans. Oh yeah. You get the onion and the garlic mixed with the olive oil and the green beans. Like I said, I used French cut green beans because they saute better in this recipe. You know, they can also be used for the infamous green bean casserole with cream of chicken soup, what have you. But I'll post what I did as far as making the stuff and the amount of the ingredients, and after I get everything edited and uploaded. Folks, you have a good day and take care. This has been another episode of the Boondock Gourmet. Thank you.